Hi, my name's Angeli, and today we'll be talking about social media and news consumption. Nowadays, there are less and less people reading physical newspapers and more people getting their news information online every day. As a social network user myself, I can attest to this notion as there are different news tabs on certain social media platforms. For instance, on Facebook there's a side tab with different trending news, and on Twitter there's a trending tab that you can click on for any updates on current news. My question is, which social network sites are being used most for news consumption? In their article Share, Like, Recommend, Hernita, Fletcher, Corin, and Logan say that the most used social network that is used mostly for news knowledge is Facebook, with Twitter coming in as a close second. The idea of online news has changed the world of journalism significantly. With this news being online, there will always be the question of whether the source is credible and trustworthy. Lee, Lindsay, and Kim's research take note of this issue in their article, The Effects of News Consumption via Social Media and News Information Overload on Perceptions of Journalism Norms and Practices. They explain that when social media news consumers find news sources that they perceive to be trustworthy and credible enough, they will keep going back to similar sources in order to reduce information overload. The use of social media by news corporations is mostly to target the younger millennial audience. These companies are trying to extend their initial reach and connect with younger people. These days, you don't see a lot of people reading the newspaper, rather they are on the phones gaining access to the same material. In their article comparing print coverage and tweets in elections, Muthi and Peto reached the conclusion that Twitter is now seen as not only an important medium for political engagement in a network public, but also as a space that has some level of influence on news production. Now, with this topic, I'd like to talk about what happened on social media when the shooting happened in Paris, France. First of all, on Facebook, we could see the news of the shooting as well as live updates on the matter. After the news got out, there was a Facebook post that actually went viral asking people to put a France flag filter on their profile pictures to show their support and respect to the victims and their families. Now, this was definitely breaking news, so another social networking site that people were using for this was Twitter. In their article, Most Students Get Breaking News First from Twitter, Tannick and Johnson examine news consumption patterns of college students by asking them where they get their breaking news from first and where this source takes them. They found that college students get their breaking news first from Twitter, and that these actually take them to traditional news organization sources, which are found more credible and trustworthy to college students than Twitter. In their article, The Relative Importance of Social Media for Accessing, Finding, and Engaging with News, Cleese and Schroeder touch on the concept of the news information cycle, which says that as news media organizations increasingly embrace these tools, more and more people use them, and they sometimes enable new participatory cultures. There are definitely some pros and cons to having social media as a main hub for news consumption. One is definitely accessibility. You can reach a broader audience with social media rather than a local newspaper. Even magazine subscriptions are down, so accessibility is a huge thing. In their article, News Consumption in the Mobile Era, Wolf and Schnauber state that mobile internet users acknowledge the advantages of the new media platform by appreciating the ubiquitous access to information. This is also underlined by the fact that the majority uses it several times a day. All in all, I personally believe that social media being used as a news consumption platform is a good thing as long as you're being transferred to trustworthy and credible sources, so be careful.